Cairo Santos for the game. Signals being called. Here's the snap. Placement made. The kick is blocked. It is blocked. It is blocked. And the Packers have won. Beautiful. It is beautiful. It comes up short, and the Packers have won 11 straight over the Bears.
Yep. It's not going to get old anytime soon. Drew and KB back with you here from headquarters, the Iron Jock Studio. Ready to catch up with our pal Wayne Larrivee, voice of the Packers. He's presented on the program by Steam Fitters Local 601. Learn more by visiting steam601.org. And the National Fire Sprinklers Association. Visit them at nfsa.org. Wayne, we're still basking in the glow. I don't know about you. It was a little gray outside, but the birds were singing and food tastes better. It's always great when you beat Chicago.
Yeah, it really is. Doesn't matter how slim the margin might have been, but that was an amazing final play there. Boy, the Bears, it's amazing. They did everything but win that game. Everything.
And that's the only thing they had to carry through on for us. And they did. They stepped up, Wayne. They certainly did.
They did.
The crowd mic on that clip we just played, we can hear the ball hitting Carl Brooks's mitt. It's amazing.
Well, that's our engineer, Scott Pfeiffer. He's absolutely the best of the business at, mixing a game. And believe me, it's an art form. Not everyone can do that.
Oh, fantastic. So, we're not going to – the Packers – I thought, Wayne, I said it yesterday. I think I said it on the postgame show with Billy too, that the Packers played like a C- game and still won. And you can look at that one of two ways. You can say, well, that's good. They won when they didn't play their best. Or it's like, well, when they got to play better than that. And I think both things might be true. What is your take now that we've had, 48 hours to digest this?
Yeah, kind of a mixed bag. I was a little disappointed the defense wasn't better than it was in that game, and yet they gave up 19 points. I get that. I thought the offense looked better, and in particular the quarterback. And I understand the interception, just an overthrow. The ball sailed on him, and really Tucker Kraft might have been able to make a play on that pass, but he thought the ball was layered to somebody behind him. That somebody, unfortunately, was Terrell Smith of the Bears instead of a teammate. But nonetheless, I thought Jordan Love looked good, and he was a force in that game. Jacobs was Jacobs, and I think one of the keys, and we talked about it, I think, a week ago, getting Christian Watson involved was one way. If you needed to get this thing to the next level, he's the guy who could do that, and they got him involved. 4 catches, 150 yards. He was dominant.
But it's in some ways, we were talking about yesterday, KB, it was such a weird game. The Packers only ran 43 plays on offense. Yeah. And we had people calling us yesterday, well, they should have gotten Tucker Kraft more involved. They should have gotten Jaden Reed more involved. Well, they didn't have that many chances. And Josh Jacobs, between his, I think, 4 catches and 18 carries, he got half of the touches of their plays, which is a good recipe. But that was a weird game. The 2 long scoring drives the Packers had, they never saw a third down. I don't remember that happening.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you're right. And so few plays in that game. And the Packers really only had 6 possessions because there was a possession that at the end of the half where they just kneeled down. Throw that one out. They only had 6 real possessions in that game. And so, and that kind of dictated maybe a little bit about what Matt wanted to do on a goal line situation when he had 4th and goal to the 6-yard line of Chicago. He said, hey, listen, we better take our shot now because we may not get it back enough to get it back into this thing.
Talking with Wayne Larrivee here on the Drew and KB program. All right, so we're basking in this glow, but it's the NFL. You got to move on. And this is a big game coming up on Sunday against San Francisco. And I was just thinking about the rivalry because here we are shifting from the Bears rivalry to the 49ers rivalry and the status of that. The all-time series between the teams, I think, is only separated by a game, Wayne, but the 49ers since 2012 have ended the Packers season 5 times in the playoffs.
Yeah. Amazing. And yet you go back to the 90s, Mike Holmgren, Brett Favre, Reggie White. They were the ones who kept ending the San Francisco season. So there's this series has almost more postseason to it than any other series the Packers have played. And so, this is, I tell you what, I think Matt LaFleur's best team was 2021. Some people may dispute that. They got to the championship game in 2020, but they couldn't beat Tampa Bay. So I thought his best team was 2021, second MVP in a row for the quarterback. They were the highest scoring team in the red zone. They were just outstanding the whole time. And yet San Francisco beat them on a blocked field goal right before halftime and a block punt recovered in the end zone by Talanoga Hufanga. And that was all it took. And so this San Francisco game, these are young guys. The Packers have turned over their roster pretty much since then. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out and play this game.
Well, I mean, Wayne, we're getting down to the end of the season. We got, a little more than a month left. Where is this team now? Give us an analysis. Where's the team at? I mean, we love them because they're 7-3 and they're the Packers, but let's take the fan glasses off and where's the team now?
Very much still in a state of evolution. They're evolving. And to be honest with you, KB, it's funny because last year this time they were 4-6. And we really didn't foresee how they would close the season. This year, they're 7-3. They have a chance to do much better than they did a year ago. And I look at the schedule coming up, and I look at kind of where they're at right now. Still a very young football team evolving, and I just hope they evolve quick enough to take advantage down the stretch. But they've got a tough road to hoe. San Francisco will be playing in a desperate state this week. They're 5-5, coming off a bad loss at home to Seattle. Then they've got to play You've still got Miami on a Thursday night, Thanksgiving night. Okay, then you've got to go to Detroit on a Thursday night, Minnesota on the road, and close up with the Bears. So it's going to be very interesting. Where are they right now? They're 7-3. That's what their record says they are. I think they're going to have to play better than they have been playing to close the season the way they want to close it.
Earlier in the year, Wayne, it almost seemed like it was the defense carrying things, and now it's like we're waiting for them to have a breakthrough, almost the way the offense did in the second half of last year, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we had the binge of takeaways and Xavier McKinney's impact early in those early games, but now it seems like, can they get off the field when you need to?
Yeah, and again, part of the reason for the disparity, as you mentioned, in time of possession and in number of plays, the Bears ran 24 more plays than the Packers, had the ball almost 13 more minutes than the Packers in that game. And why? Well, because the Packers gave up 56% on third downs and 3 for 3 on fourth downs in that game against Chicago. So it's funny going into the bye. I thought the offense can get better by doing a few things, fewer penalties, get Christian Watson involved, don't turn the ball over. At this stage, I'm looking at the defense of saying, need to force more turnovers, and yet they're among the league leaders in turnovers. Why? Because they had so many early in the season. The last 3 weeks, I believe all they have is 2 takeaways. So that has to get better. But the other thing that has to happen somehow, some way, they need to get better, more consistent pass rush pressure out of their 4-man line.
That's what we've been talking about a lot is, the push starts in the front with Kenny Clark. We had Brenton Cox got a chance and made a little splash in his first extended duty. But the guys up front, the edge guys, Rashawn Gary actually had a pretty good game against Chicago. Like probably by his metrics, it might've been one of his better games of the season. Don't you think?
Yeah, I thought he showed up really well. I mean, he made a sack, but he also did well in setting the edge against the run. I thought he always plays hard. He's a quality guy and quality kid and player, very talented player. Is he the 14 sack a year player that everyone thinks he should be? Probably not. And I had an opportunity to talk to one of his college coaches over the bye week. And, nothing but good things to say about Rashawn Gary. Was concerned that people are on him because he's not making 14 sacks a season. And he said the fact is he's not that guy. He's a complete player. He's a dominant kind of player, but he's not the guy who's going to get you for. He's not a basketball player out there. The great pass rushers are basketball players in this league. Look at them. I mean, just look at their dimensions. Nick Bosa, the guy in Vegas, Hutchinson in Detroit. These guys are long and lean, and they move like basketball players. Their handwork and everything else. Rashawn's not built that way. He's a different kind of player. I think he's going to be a very productive player, but everyone thinks he should be getting 14 sacks a game. And 14 sacks a season, and that probably is not who he is.
Last thing for you on the defense before we get to KB's learn about Larrivee question. Do we just discount, and maybe we shouldn't, but Jair wasn't out there. Like he suited up and dressed, and I was a little surprised he was active, but then he played a little bit, and then they shut him down. And when you're missing a guy of that caliber, Wayne, there has to be a trickle effect, but sometimes we don't do that math in our heads. And we say, well, that we noticed when Evan Williams wasn't playing, right? And we noticed, but I think people maybe we need to recalibrate a little bit with Jair because he's obviously a really good at his position, and they're a better team when he plays.
He's a great coverage technician, Drew, and that's really what he is. But you're right; the injuries are starting to take a toll, and they do have impact. Now I think the Packers have some good young cornerbacks, but you want your lead cornerback out there, at least taking away their lead receiver. And that would have been probably Jair against DJ Moore more often than not in that game, and yet we saw 10 snaps for Jair. It's tough. I mean, here's the thing. I don't want to question a guy's outlook toward the game and whether he's feeling pain or not. But I do know this about wide receivers and cornerbacks. If you're playing on the edge of offense or defense, you need to be 100% from the waist down. This is how you make your living. Don't tell me you can play through that hamstring injury. You can't. If you try to, you will hurt your team. And I think primarily, I think that's what Jair has said, that, hey, listen, I don't want to go out there at 70% or 80% because I'm not going to be able to do my job and I'll hurt the team. So that's something you have to understand. Now, an offensive lineman, maybe even a running back, those guys can kind of play through some of those injuries. Jordan Love can play with a groin pull a little bit, but man, when you're out there and it's speed on speed, and that's how you make your living, you better be 100% from the waist on down. If you're not, get off the field because you're going to hurt the team.
Yeah, I like the Packers' chances better on 3rd and 19 when Jair's on the field.
I do too.
Call me crazy. KB, it's time for a Learn About Larrivee question. We talk to Wayne every week. We hear him on the games, but we got to get to know him better. What do you got for us today, KB?
All right, Wayne. What Garth Brooks song would you sing on karaoke night?
You're assuming I know a Garth Brooks song.
Okay. What Rolling Stone song would you sing on karaoke night?
Ooh.
I would probably, I would probably go with Brown Sugar.
Okay.
I like that.
Very good. Very good. That's a great one. I would be incredible in the White House press corps, wouldn't I?
Yes. It'd be an upgrade.
Especially with the administration coming up, KB. I think they need to hear from you.
Yeah, I'd go to that. Do you see that smoke show that's going to be the press secretary? That room is going to be packed. I don't care if you like them or not. But I'm going for the view.
By the way, didn't you do a Rolling Stones song in Puerto Vallarta?
Yes, I did. I think I did.
Shirt. I think
I might have sang the Rolling Stones in a kitten shirt in a gay bar in Puerto Vallarta, but that's a different story for a different
Wayne,
day.
Like, anybody who does Friends in Low Places, I think people head for the exits.
Well, yeah.
That's just too weak.
So
the thunder rolls.
Wayne, we're looking forward to hearing you at the game.
Yeah, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Are you coming to the feast?
Absolutely.
Sweet.
Yes, we will see you on Thursday.
Just get me a tall one. Get me a tall one.
Yes, we will.
I'm looking forward to it. No, it is always my favorite to see you guys on the road at those football feasts. It's great.
Excellent.
Always a blast. We'll see you then,
Wayne.
Thanks
you got
for joining
it, guys.
us.
Have a good week.
All right. Wayne Larrivee brought to us on the program once again by Steam Fitters Local 601.